And if they want to be independent, they should be independent. We will not start a war.
Hello and welcome to the newsroom breaking this hour. Let's start with the top story. Now, viewers, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia will achieve its goals in Ukraine by diplomatic or military means and would seek to expand a security buffer zone there. Putin also says that people in Europe were being indoctrinated with fears of a war with Russia and accused their leaders of whipping up hysteria. Putin noted that Russia is not seeking war with Europe, but is ready for war if that is Europe's choice. Meanwhile, Russia has repeatedly accused European countries of attempting to sabotage peace efforts between the US and Russia. Let's listen in.
Российская армия завоевала и прочно удерживает стратегическую инициативу на всей линии фронта. Наши войска уверенно продвигаются вперед и перемалывают противника, его группировки и резервы, в том числе так называемые элитные части и соединения, прошедшие подготовку в западных военных центрах, оснащенные современной иностранной техникой и вооружением. В этом году уже освобождено свыше 300 населенных пунктов, в том числе крупные города, превращенные противником в укрепленные узлы, насыщенные долговременными фортификационными сооружениями. Занятые позиции, созданные за последние месяцы плацдармы и, конечно, полученный в боях уникальный тактический и оперативный опыт прорыва глубокой обороны противника позволяют наращивать темпы наступления на стратегически важных направлениях. В состав военно-морского флота пополнили новые подводные лодки, включая стратегический ракетоносец «Князь Пожарский», а также 19 надводных кораблей и судов. Прошли успешные испытания стратегической крылатые ракеты неограниченной дальности «Буревестник» и безэкипажного подводного аппарата «Посейдон». За счет использования ядерной энергетической установки эти комплексы еще долго будут оставаться уникальными и единственными в своем роде. Обеспечат стратегический паритет безопасности глобальные позиции России на десятилетия.
Russian Defense Minister Andriy Belorus says that Ukrainian forces are trying unsuccessfully to take control of the northeastern Ukrainian town of Kupiansk, which had a pre-war population of around 26,000. Belorusov also says that efforts by European leaders to prolong the conflict risked extending the fighting in Ukraine in 2026. Russia has repeatedly accused European countries of attempting to sabotage peace efforts between the US and Russia. Earlier, Ukraine said it had taken control of the 90% of the Kharkiv region town, which Russia said it had captured in November after previously losing control of it in Ukraine's September 2022 counter-offensive. Let's listen into that.
За год освобождено свыше 300 населенных пунктов, более 6 тысяч квадратных километров территории. Это на треть превышает прошлогодние показатели. Причем темпы продвижения группировок войск «Восток», «Центр» и «Запад» по сравнению с 2024 годом выросли в 1,5-2 раза. Группировка войск «Запад» заняла стратегически важный город Купянск, который противник безуспешно пытается себе вернуть. Через него проходили пути снабжения подразделений ВСУ. Это позволит расширить полосу безопасности в Харьковской области и снизить угрозу обстрелов противником северных. Ключевая задача на следующий год – сохранить и нарастить набранные темпы наступления. Все мы знаем, что сегодня предпринимаются политико-дипломатические усилия по разрешению так называемого украинского конфликта. В то же время отчетливо видим попытки европейских руководителей и киевского режима уклониться от решения этого вопроса. Речь идет о затягивании конфликта с расчетом на максимальный.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has sharply criticized European Union plans to use frozen Russian assets to finance Ukraine, calling the proposal reckless. Orbán warned that the move could seriously damage Europe's financial credibility and create major risks for Belgium, where most of the frozen assets are held. European Union leaders are set to debate the issue at a summit where they will also consider possible guarantees for Belgium. Around $230 billion in Russian assets are frozen across the European Union, with roughly $200 billion held in Belgium and small amounts in France, Luxembourg, Germany and Sweden. The funds are mainly parked at Belgium's Central Security Depository, Euroclear. Orban has also accused Brussels of overstepping the rights of member states and pushing policies he claims are harmful to Europe's economy. Let's listen in to him.
Europe is a Belgian company. They are in danger. If the European Union crazy idea go ahead to confiscate the Russian frozen assets, that would have tremendously bad impacts on Euroclear company. But Brussels is a worrying player of the European politics by itself. Yeah. So what's going on here is to circumvent the rights of the member states daily. They would like to put forward programs which destroy the European economy, crazy madness, green theories, pro-migration policy, pro-war policy. So Brussels is a symbol of a political danger for a country like we are from Central Europe.
And moving on, Venezuela's military says it is not intimidated by pressure from the United States after President Donald Trump ordered a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers heading to and leaving the country. Speaking on Wednesday, Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez said that the Venezuelan armed forces reject what he called crude and arrogant threats from Washington. Surrounded by senior commanders, he stressed that the country's dignity is not negotiable and vowed continued loyalty to President Nicolas Maduro. Analysts warn the standoff could further strain Venezuela's economy and raise the risk of confrontation as both sides harden their rhetoric and positions. And now China's top diplomat Wang Yi has voiced Beijing support for Venezuela, criticizing what he called unilateral bullying following the US decision to block sanctioned oil vessels traveling to and from the country. According to China's foreign ministry, Wang made the comments during a phone call with Venezuelan Foreign Minister Wang Jil on Wednesday. Wang said that China opposes all forms of unilateral pressure and supports countries defending their sovereignty and national dignity. He added that Venezuela has the right to pursue mutually beneficial cooperation with other nations without external interference. And up next was German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says that the European Union must keep increasing pressure on Russian President Putin to push Moscow toward negotiations over the war in Ukraine. Speaking as discussions continue in Brussels, Merz said that sustained political and economic pressure remains essential if diplomacy is to succeed. His comments come amid ongoing debate within the European Union over plans to use frozen Russian state assets to help fund Ukraine's defense. Listen in.
Etwas deutlicher sagen. Es reicht nicht, dass wir mit weiteren Sanktionen die Einnahmequellen der russischen Kriegsmaschinerie austrocknen. Es reicht nicht, dass wir in Europa die finanzielle Unterstützung der Ukraine wie bisher fortsetzen. Es reicht nicht, dass wir unser ganzes politisches Gewicht in die Waagschale der Friedensverhandlungen werfen. Das alles tun wir zweifelsohne. Aber offenkundig muss der Druck auf Putin noch weiter steigen, um ihn zu ernsthaften Verhandlungen zu bewegen. Und zum einen, ein dauerhafter Frieden kann und darf nicht auf Kosten der Ukraine oder der Sicherheit Europas erreicht werden. Dazu gehört auch, dass die Ukraine nicht zu einseitigen und inakzeptablen Gebietsabtretungen gezwungen wird. Zum anderen muss sich die Ukraine auch in Zukunft gegen künftige russische Angriffe wirksam zur Wehr setzen können. Dafür braucht sie starke eigene Streitkräfte und belastbare Sicherheitsgarantien ihrer Partner.
Moving on, United Kingdom's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has criticized the ongoing doctor strike as dangerous and irresponsible, urging medics to prioritize patient care. This comes as the doctors in England have launched a 5-day strike over pay and working conditions as the NHS faces a surge in flu cases. Junior doctors say their wages have been eroded for over a decade. Meanwhile, the government insists it cannot offer further increases, while officials warn the strikes risk patient care. Let's listen in to those comments coming in.
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear about the strikes. They're dangerous and utterly irresponsible. And my message to resident doctors is don't abandon patients, work with us to improve conditions and rebuild the NHS. But Mr. Speaker, they left the NHS absolutely on its knees, waiting lists through the roof and confidence absolutely.
Outside St. Thomas's Hospital in London, patients and residents shared why they support the doctors' action. Let's hear them out.
Are being forced to strike because there doesn't seem to be any other way of being heard, and there being some kind of dialogue for them to actually be paid for what they deserve in terms of the work that they're doing. So the hospital departments have had to arrange cover to ensure that for patient safety and patients are looked after and seen. So I'm not worried, but I am aware that impact it has on the staff that are working to cover patient care, because actually they are being stretched. But I also have give my full support to the doctors here, because they're not being paid to stand out here. They're fighting for everybody to get paid a decent wage.
For me, I think it's very underfunded for what they actually have to go through and do. It's stressful for a lot of people who work there, and getting appointments in general is really difficult. So I think they need a lot more help than they're getting right now. No reason for government to give pay cuts to doctors, nurses or anyone else. For something that's key frontline work in the UK, that's needed. I mean, you wouldn't see a politician getting a wage cut. So.
Moving on now, viewers, France's Interior Ministry has confirmed it was hit by a serious cyber attack after hackers gained access to internal email systems. The breach allowed attackers to move through accounts, obtain passwords and access sensitive government databases, including law enforcement records. Some data was also extracted, raising concerns about security and data protection. Cybersecurity authorities have been brought in, and both criminal and internal investigations are now underway. The government says that the steps are being taken to strengthen digital security and review how its information systems are being organized as officials assess the full impact of the intrusion. Let's in fact listen in to what the French Interior Minister had to say.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Nous avons fait l'objet d'une intrusion par un hacker, très probablement, puisque l'action a été revendiquée ensuite sur les réseaux sociaux, qui a utilisé notre système de messagerie, qui a d'abord fait une intrusion sur nos messageries, et puis qui est allé rechercher des mots de passe parce que on n'a pas forcément toujours, et c'est dommageable, respecter l'hygiène numérique qui consiste à éviter d'échanger sur des messageries en clair des mots de passe qui permettent d'accéder à des fichiers qui sont eux des fichiers protégés. Et c'est comme ça que l'assaillant a pu effectivement consulter un certain nombre de fichiers, dont les 2 fichiers dont vous parlez, et même, ce qui est évidemment très grave, procéder à une extraction d'un certain nombre de fiches, grâce à l'ANSSI qui s'investit. Au cas d'espèce, l'ANSSI est saisie, il y a une enquête judiciaire aussi, et je ne doute pas une seconde que l'assaillant sera évidemment retrouvé. Et puis par ailleurs, j'ai diligenté une enquête administrative et j'en tirerai évidemment toutes les conséquences en termes d'organisation de nos systèmes d'information, toutes les conséquences. Je vous redis que ce qui s'est passé est très grave, j'assume ce mot et je tirerai toutes les conséquences des constats qui seront faits à l'issue de l'enquête judiciaire et de l'enquête administrative.
Moving on, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says that Italy is not ready to sign off on the massive trade agreement between the European Union and the Mercosur bloc just yet. Addressing the parliament, Meloni said it would be premature to approve the deal in the coming days because key safeguards to protect Italian farmers are still not finalized. However, she made it clear Italy is not opposing the agreement and said she is confident conditions could be met by early 2026. The European Commission, backed by Germany, wants member states to approve the deal before the end of this year. If signed, it would create the world's largest free trade area, boosting European Union exports while easing South American agricultural imports into Europe. Let's listen in to Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni.
Il governo italiano è sempre stato chiaro nel dire che l'accordo dovrà essere positivo per tutti i settori e che quindi è necessario rispondere in particolare alle preoccupazioni dei nostri agricoltori. Negli scorsi mesi abbiamo quindi lavorato molto intensamente con la Commissione, ottenuto passi in avanti significativi in particolare con l'introduzione di un meccanismo specifico di salvaguardia, di un fondo adeguato di compensazione cui attingere in caso di necessità e più recentemente di un significativo rafforzamento dei controlli fitosanitari in entrata. Tutte queste misure, seppur presentate, non sono ancora del tutto finalizzate. Riteniamo quindi che firmare l'accordo nei prossimi giorni, come è stato ipotizzato, sia ancora prematuro. Per noi è necessario attendere che il pacchetto di misure aggiuntive a tutela del settore agricolo sia perfezionato e allo stesso tempo illustrarlo e discuterlo con i nostri agricoltori. Questo non significa che l'Italia intenda bloccare o opporsi all'accordo nel suo complesso, ma come abbiamo sempre detto intendiamo approvarlo solo nel momento in cui saranno incluse adeguate garanzie di reciprocità per il nostro.
France has also stepped in, with French President Emmanuel Macron saying Paris will strongly oppose any attempt to force the deal through, citing concerns for farmers. And we now shift our focus. Syrian-born Australian hero Ahmed Al-Hamid, who bravely disarmed a terrorist during the deadly Bondi Beach attack, received a personal call from Syrian Foreign Minister Asad al-Shabaini. Now, the call came after the anti-Semitic attack at the Hanukkah event in Sydney that killed 15 people and left dozens injured. During the phone conversation, Shabani conveyed the concern of Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara and wished Ahmed a speedy recovery. Ahmed expressed gratitude to both officials, calling the response of the security personnel and bystanders heroic in removing injustice and ending oppression. Ahmed, who is originally from Al-Nairab in northwestern Syria, tackled the attacker and wrestled away his gun, preventing further casualties. He was shot during the incident and is currently recovering at St. George Hospital in southern Sydney. His bravery has also earned praise from Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and US President Donald Trump, highlighting his courage and quick thinking in the face of terror. And Australian police say that a man accused of opening fire at the Jewish event there at Bondi Beach faces 59 charges, including terrorism offensive. 15 people were killed in Sunday's attack, the deadliest mass shooting there in Australia in nearly 3 decades. The alleged gunman was shot dead by police at the scene. Parents of the 10-year-old Matilda, the youngest victim of the Bondi shooting, have reacted. Let's listen in.
Like, she's running around happy, and then second what I see before my eyes is she's lying on the ground, and I just can't explain how it happened. And we heard some the shots, but we thought maybe it's just someone decided, just bad joke, like, you know, just
or fireworks or something.
Fireworks, something like, yes, like, and my first reaction was, who can do that next to this event? So because all Jewish community is traumatized, but this sounds like you separated from Matilda because my little one came to me just before it happened, and she asked me, "Mom, can we go to 90 videos again?" And I said, "Listen, there is a long line there. Me and Dad very tired. We will sit here on the chair, and you can go and stay in line, and we will join you when line is closer." And she went to her sister, and then they changed plans. They decided just to go to pet animals, and they told Michael that they go there, but I wasn't aware. So when he said it's shooting, I just ran where 90s cinema was.
I wrapped my shirt and I was talking to her because she was.
She was in shock.
She was in shock. She was telling me that it's hard to breathe, and I was holding her, and I was like, "Calm down, please, please, please." I was trying to pull her out, but the shooting would just not stop. We were looking where the cops were. They were not.
And Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has delivered a strong message of unity and resilience at an interfaith memorial service in Sydney. Speaking at St. Mary's Cathedral, he paid tribute to the victims of the deadly Bondi Beach attack that killed 15 people and acknowledged the pain felt by the faith communities across the country. Albanese also praised the bravery of ordinary Australians who stepped in to help during the violence, highlighting acts of courage and compassion. He stressed that Australia will not allow hatred or fear to divide its people.
Jewish Australians deliberately targeted on the first night of Hanukkah as they came together at that beautiful place to renew their hope, their resilience, their belief in the power of light. The darkness of terror and anti-Semitism was cast upon them. Our nation is stronger than the cowards who seek to divide us. The spirit of the country that we have built together will always be greater than those who seek to breach it. We are braver than the people who try to make us.
And now in Washington, a key bipartisan move unfolded as enough Republican lawmakers joined Democrats to push for a vote on extending Obamacare healthcare subsidies in the U.S. House of Representatives. The subsidies, which are designed to make health insurance more affordable under the Affordable Care Act, affect millions of Americans. Democrats stressed the importance of continuing financial support for low and middle income families, while some Republicans raised concerns over the fiscal impact of extending the program. With both parties now engaging in debate, the House is set to hold the vote soon, marking a critical moment for U.S. healthcare policy and millions of Americans relying on these subsidies. And moving on now, viewers, the United States has cast doubt on claims by the Rwanda-backed M23 armed group that it is withdrawing from the eastern Congolese city of Uvira at Washington's request. A U.S. State Department spokesperson said on Wednesday there is no credible evidence that M23 is taking steps to leave Uvira or nearby areas. The rebel group had earlier suggested it was pulling back in response to international pressure, but U.S. officials say the situation on the ground does not support that assertion. The fighting in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has raised regional and international concern with accusations that Rwanda backs the M23, a charge that Kigali denies. And up next was Japanese scientists have retrieved an ice core that they hope will help experts protect the world's disappearing glaciers. The sample is part of an ambitious international effort to understand why glaciers in Tajikistan have resisted the rapid melting seen almost everywhere else. Meanwhile, some scientists have responded. Let's listen into what they have said.
アイスコアっていうのはやっぱり貴重な資料で、1本しかないんですけれども、その1本のアイスコアの中からいろいろな科学的な分析であったり物理学的な分析であったりさまざまな分析を行うためにまずはそのアイスコアの資料をいろいろと切り分けるっていう作業を行っています。
地球温暖化で地球上の氷が失われつつあります。一般の方でよく話聞きますのは南極の氷が溶けて海水準が上がってしまって今島々が海に沈没してしまうんではないかとかそういった恐れがあります。ですけれどもこの地域だけタジキスタン周辺のパミールの地域だけは、氷が失われることがなくて逆に増えているというのが観測事実として。
And the abandoned automobile industry, Germany's leading auto industry group, reacted sharply to the European Commission's proposal to weaken the 2025 combustion engine ban, calling the draft package disastrous. While the group had long lobbied for flexibility, it criticized the new proposal for replacing the ban with a complex web of more regulations that it claims are ineffective and fatal for competitiveness. Meanwhile, major individual German car makers like Volkswagen welcomed the move as pragmatic, and BMW hailed it as a step in the right direction. Let's hear them out.
Wir sehen das kritisch und wir sehen es lediglich als einen ersten Schritt. Die EU hatte versprochen, sich die Realitäten anzusehen und dann Flexibilisierung und Anpassungen vorzunehmen. Das, was jetzt letztlich passiert ist, sind eigentlich an bestimmten Stellen noch mehr Regulierungen. Wir haben zwar das Bekenntnis zur Technologieoffenheit, aber das ist letztlich ein Lippenbekenntnis, wenn es mit Hürden versehen wird, die wir gar nicht unter Kontrolle haben. Sei es beispielsweise bei grünem Stahl, der verbaut werden soll, von dem wir die Verfügbarkeiten gar nicht kennen, oder auch bei erneuerbaren Kraftstoffen. Das führt letzten Endes dazu, dass wir wieder davon abhängig sind, was andere machen, so wie es schon bei der Ladeinfrastruktur ist. Und deswegen sehen wir das sehr kritisch. Da kann man eines ganz deutlich sagen, es wurde gestern an den Klimazielen nichts verändert. Es ist weiterhin ein 100%-Ziel. Das Einzige, was gestern verändert wurde, ist, dass man sagt, dass eben diese 10%, die man jetzt runtergegangen ist auf 90, die werden ja erbracht durch den Einsatz von grünem Stahl und erneuerbaren Kraftstoffen. Das heißt, das wurde ja nur verschoben. An den Klimazielen ändert sich nichts und da stehen wir auch dafür. Wir wollen diese Klimaziele erreichen. Es geht uns überhaupt nicht um das Ob. Uns geht es um das Wie. Wir haben da konstruktive.
And with that, it's a wrap on the newsroom. Keep watching NewsX World for more breaking news updates.